Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on the channel. You missed the second race actually of the season at Homestead, Miami because it was such a disaster of a race that I didn't bother showing it, and neither did some other people. But basically, because of that race being such a disaster, we completely changed how the races are in Nitro again. We've actually reverted to back what we had last season with manual cautions, less drivers in the races, and whatnot. So everything is now the same due to what it was like last season in the Nitro Racing League, except the races are still 50%. So we're running another good chunk of length now as we are here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So this is race number 3 on the season. Basically, in race number 2 at Homestead, the 48 car was able to bring home the victory. I finished like 3rd or 4th or something like that. I can't even remember. It was such a disaster of a race. It was literally just caution after caution, and we just didn't bother showing it. So the last one you saw, though, was the season opener at Daytona, where we had a solid race, but we had to fall to the back at the end due to lag, and then we got caught up in an accident on the final lap. But we had a decent qualifying effort here in Atlanta. Now, as you can probably tell by the title, it's definitely going to be an interesting race now. As we dive down into turns 1, we're going to have now the choose cone rule here in the Nitro Racing League. Very excited to have that now as we come through out of turns 2. I don't really think you're going to see much of the choose cone rule come into too much of a play in this race here in Atlanta because the bottom lane is just so dominant, and if you were not on the bottom, you were in big trouble. But we continued working our way through 3 wide here as we went down towards turns 1 on lap 5 of this first stage. The 9 of Andrew was out front at this point. Behind me, we had the 21 of Sean as we came through out of turns 2, heading down the backstretch side by side with the number 8 of Pinhead. I don't actually know his name. Maybe it's Patrick because that's in his gamer tag now, as we came through out of turns 4 on the end of lap 6. Now, right behind our affiliate teammate Jay, we had now worked our way up inside the top 5 now to P4. And keep in mind, in the Nitro Racing League, the top 5 are the ones that get points. We actually got into the back of Jay in turns 4 on lap 7 after he hit the apron. He went up into the wall. He fell behind a little bit. Now, as we were up into P3, then the 48 actually gets into the wall on the exit of turn 2. So I moved into second. Eddie got to my inside in the 88, and I didn't feel like fighting at this point, so I just said, okay, just go and take the position. And I knew that I really like working with Eddie. He's one of my favorite drivers right now in the Nitro Racing League, so I decided to just get in behind him and just kind of run down the 9 of Andrew with the draft, so we would get to him by the time we came through now on lap 21 out of turns 4. I did have a few leg issues as well in this race that you're going to see now as we came through hitting 30 to go, and actually we would get a caution here as we went down towards turns 1. That's why you see me kind of lose focus there and hit the outside wall. But we got our first caution of the day after 21 laps, and here's where the choose cone rule would come into effect. We made our pit stops, came out P3, and it had 0 effect on this first one. Andrew went inside, 88 outside, and myself on the inside as well, so we would get right back into the action here for the restart as we were underway. 27 laps to go in stage 1. One thing I really do like now about the stages in the Nitro League is since we do 50% races, we actually have stage lengths that the game will decide itself, of course, instead of us all having to manually do the stages. Now as we come through down the back straightaway, a little bit of help there from the 48 of Tyler there as we dive down into turns 3 on the inside of the 88 of Eddie. Andrew leads the way as we come through out of turns 4. He's looking for that stage 1 victory, but I would take second from Eddie because he was on that outside, but then the 48 got to my inside in the same situation. I wasn't going to fight in stage 1 when we were only like halfway through, so I just let him have the spot, and then the 88 as well is going to get to my inside, and I would just let him have it as well as we went down towards turns 1. So a lot of Hendrick drivers up here. I think I said in the Daytona episode, I really think it's going to be a Hendrick versus Joe Gibbs Racing type season now as we come through out of turns 2, hitting down this backstretch on the inside of that 48. We would get past him into turns 1 on lap 29, but then it hit the apron into the corner, sliding up the track. We hang on to it, but we lose that spot that we gained, but we would be able to get back into P4 as we came through with 17 to go in the first stage. Now the 48 still on my inside as we go down into turns 1 and 2. Unfortunately, that would cause me to lose a good chunk of time there as my teammate of Matt, and as you guys know, the league owner of Nitro in the 20 car on my inside as we went down towards turn 3. The 14 was up in the mix as well as I tried to get to the inside, and then I got hit just a little bit by the 20 there as I had to hit the brakes quite heavily going into the corner. So we lose a spot to Matt, and then the 14, I don't know who the name is of the 14 now. It came through, getting back though in front of that 14, and then we ran down the 48 of Tyler again. We got past him as we went through into turns 1 on lap 41. Matt had worked his way up into P3. He then put the pressure on Eddie now as we would get a huge run here, hitting lap 43 now. 9 laps to go in this first stage in Atlanta as we dive down towards turns 1 Keep in mind, like I said, top 5 get points in the stages now, not top 10. Now as we come through out of turns 2, side by side with our teammate of Matt, trying to get that 3rd position down the back straightaway. We have the draft from Eddie as we dive down into turn 3, but now drivers were starting to think about coming to the pit lane, and one of those drivers that would be the first one to come to the pit lane was Matt. You saw him in my rear view mirror there coming to the pit lane. Then the 88 of Eddie decided he was going to pit on this lap here as we went down towards turn 3. I myself was very confused, actually, why everybody was pitting. Andrew came into the pit lane on lap 45, and that puts myself and Tyler out front. And like I said, I was confused because I was looking at the field, and I'm like, it's going to be really close. Like, we probably will be able to still get to the line. But I decided I had to let the 48 go because I was trying my best to save my tires. We were at 7% on the right rear, coming to 2 to go in the stage, so I thought I was probably going to blow a tire, but we came through to start the final lap, still going, the field light on, the tire icon still on. Now as we come through out of turns 2 on this white flag in stage 1, the 48 actually runs out of fuel down the back straightaway, and we're going to get past him, and then as he runs out and we pass him, we run out of fuel as well, but fortunately we were able to get in front of him. The 9 of Andrew, trying to get his lap back after pitting, actually makes contact with his teammate of the 48 of Tyler. My right rear tire at 1%. Coming to the line, but we're going to win stage 1, and we hold Andrew a lap down. He is going to get the lucky dog, if I'm not mistaken now, but we get a playoff point. Jay comes through, actually, to beat the 48 to the line to get 2nd, but like I said, we get a crucial playoff point right there. I got a playoff point as well in Homestead, Miami. I actually had a chance to win Miami, but I lost it on the very final restart. But we would come to the pit lane, 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires and whatnot, and we would get right back into the action here for the start of stage 2. These are the only cautions, or the only points of the race where we don't have manual restarts, is at the obviously the initial start and then the start of the stages. But we would drive away here in the first few laps. On lap 4 of stage 2, they would actually go crashing behind me, though, Andrew involved and a few others. That would bring out the first caution of the second stage. So then obviously we get to do the choose cone rule, but unfortunately I had to fall to the back on this restart because I had a big leg spike. So I volunteered to just go to the back, and we would have to try and work our way back forwards. Now, like I said, leg was a little bit of an issue for myself in this race, unfortunately. I know why it was happening, but I still couldn't quite get a handle on it. Now as we came through out of turns 2, running in this 12th position, there's this contact up ahead of us now, and we're involved in a crash now for the first time today as we nearly hit the inside wall. We keep it going, and then we loop it around, but the caution was out at this point. I had absolutely nowhere to go right there, so very unfortunate now, as that's the first incident we've been a part of in this episode. Surprisingly, I don't even think we got in a crash at Daytona. I can't remember about Miami because Miami, like I said, was such a disaster that I just don't remember much about that race now as we dive down into turns 3, or turns 2 that was, sorry, or whatever it was. But then we would get another crash on the next lap or so, on lap 11 of stage 2, and as you can imagine, a caution would come out. So this would force yet another restart. We would get right back into the action here in Atlanta. So down in like P13, I would work my way though up into P9, and then I think there was a bit of a net code there because I clearly did not touch RJ, but it clearly it looked like it did on his screen. And then sure enough though, we would continue working our way forwards now up to P6, passing the 24. Then we get to the inside of Christian, who now drives the 41 car. We passed him for P5, so we're back into stage points as the 20 and the 48 nearly made contact now as we came through, heading down the back straightaway. There was lag from the car in second place, the 14, and that would actually allow me to get up into the 3rd spot. And then we would get to the inside of the 14, who had that lag spike, and we would pass him for 2nd place. So now we were closing in on the back of Andrew, but then behind us, you could see there was some trouble there for the 24 of Combat, and then we would end up getting a caution for that as well as we went down towards turns 3. So that was very unfortunate now, but we would come to the pit lane and beat Andrew out of the pit lane. So we would be leading after that 4-tire stop, and I decided I wanted to spice things up. We come up to the choose cone designation point, which is the start finish line for Nitro. I chose the outside just to see what would happen, and fortunately for me, it works out because I clear the 9 car by the time we got going, so I was able to drop down in front of him, and then he would actually get to my inside on the exit of turns 4. Like I said, I just didn't feel like really fighting at this point in the race, so I just let drivers go. And unfortunately, though, I got stuck on the outside and dropped all the way to P7, so it was probably not the greatest idea now as we would get to the inside of Matt, though, down the front straightaway, pass him for P6, then get to the inside of the 14 again, pass him for P5, so we were back into a stage point spot once again with just 10 to go, approaching 9 to go at the line here in the 2nd stage. Then we get to the inside of Jay, pass him for that 4th spot, so we're now hitting 2 points, and then we would get to the inside of the 48, get 3rd, and try to set our sights now on the the 41 of Christian. Now as came through on lap 45, though I hit the apron there through turns 1 and 2, and that allows the 48 to pounce on the opportunity as we come through out of the corner, heading down the backstretch. So he would get to the inside of Christian. I would be able to hang with him and follow him past Christian. So I'd be back into P3. Then he went to the higher entrance in turns 1. I don't know if he made contact or something, but that would allow me to get up into P2, and we came to straight to the final lap through turns 3 and turns 4 here in the second stage. Now as I clip the apron in front of the 48 again, but this time we hold on to it better as we exit turn 4. Andrew wins stage 2, and I come through to finish in second as the 48 of Tyler crosses the line there in P3. And Matt would get the final stage point there in 5th, and then we had Christian there in the 4th position. Now as we would get ready to go green for the 3rd and final stage, which is now underway, we had a very good pit stop because we line up still in P2, but Andrew actually goes from 1st to 3rd, the 48 drops down to 4th, and then Christian, he was able to get all of us. He went from 4th to 1st on the pit stop. So in good shape here for the start of the 3rd and final stage, though. Now less than 60 laps to go, about 55 or so, as we go down this back straightaway side by side with Christian. Andrew decides to go up the middle 3 wide, and he would be able to get back out in front, being up my inside. I'm not actually sure. Maybe Christian actually stayed out or something. I think that's actually what it was. Christian actually stayed out at the end of stage 2 by accident, and that's why he was out front now. But unfortunately, me being on the outside did not work once again. Now as we're falling towards the bottom of the top 10 now, 0-3 wide with the 1 and the 8 car, and then I get run out of room here. Surprise now as we go down into turns 1. So unfortunate that happened, but we would work our way back now as we came through on lap 110 through turns 3, the 14 having issues, and we both go to the outside wall there as I could not avoid them. Then they would go crashing with the 48 and the 1 car down the front straightaway. That would bring out a caution, and thankfully we were able to keep the car going in the right direction. But we come down to the pit lane, and you can see this absolute magnificent sight right here with the 24, the 21, and the 43 being all together. But we would put 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel and whatnot in and on the car now. Now getting down to the inside right away here with 49 laps to go here in Atlanta, and I would fight all the way up into P4, just running that inside lane there as I would slice to the inside of my teammate of Matt as it went down into turn 3. Jay going for the lead over the 8 car through turns 3 and turns 4 as we come through right on the back of him on the exit of the corner. Behind me, we had Matt there as I came through down into turns 1 and lap 116, though. Matt able to get to my inside through the center of the corner once again. I left the bottom open so much in this race, but like I said, I just didn't feel like battling at this point still, even in the race. Now as we go down the backstretch towards turns 3. So Jay getting some laps led. He's definitely looking a lot more competitive this season. I'm not sure what it is, but it's awesome to see. Now as we came through, actually we got past Jay, and then we got past Matt as well, and then there were some issues right there with the 96 of NASCAR King and another affiliate teammate. Jay got cleaned out by that. So just as I was mentioning that he was doing better, he gets cleaned out. That brought out a caution. I decide running P2, we're going to choose the inside with the choose cone rule. And then on the next restart, the 96, he would jump the restart from P2, clear Andrew, and then out of turn 2, he was told to give up the position, and then I caused a massive crash because of a leg spike, and that would, of course, bring out another caution here. That was all not on me, obviously. It was just lag, but then we would get going for the next restart. The 96 had a lot of issues there getting going, so that left myself and Andrew out in front, but then the 1 car, he would make a move to the inside, Justin there on the 1 car, that is, as we dive down into turns 3, so he gets through up into second place. Jay gets to my inside as well, then the 41 of Christian gets to my inside, but Jay and the 1 made contact there out of turns 2, then myself and Justin touch. Obviously he hit the outside wall, bounced off, and unfortunately I was there. Now as you see King Outbreak is online, he actually lagged out of the race. He has the 88 car there. Now as there was more problems here on lap 131, somehow we get through it. So we were running like P4 at this point now. On lap 138 we continue moving our way forward somehow up into P3 after this complete mess, and then we would get close to Andrew, and Andrew kind of came together there with the 41 of Christian, and that would put me into second place now on lap 147. So you see here the tire icon on your screen, Andrew being very defensive there of that bottom lane. I told him, I was like, I'm not really going to make a move there, but we came through on lap 149, and we are going to come into the pit lane together. Andrew got onto the pit lane so much better than I did. He's really good there with entering the pit lane. So it was myself in the pits, P2, and we would come out P2. The 24 of Combat actually was trying to stretch it out a little bit. I'm not sure if he was looking for a caution or something to play into his advantage, but it would not work for him because we would come through now to lap 155. Andrew would take the lead from the 24, and obviously you can see how quickly I'm closing in on the back now of the 24 car as we dive down towards turns 3. So we would be able to quickly get through into that second position now as we came through out of turn 4, getting to the inside of combat there. We caught him at a pretty good time. Couldn't exit the corner exactly like I wanted to, but still I think I would have rather caught him there than on the entrance of the corner. So we take over second with 7 laps to go. We continue though, closing up to the back of Andrew with help from the draft, of course. So now it was between himself and I. Jay was down in third. He had no draft, so he fell back quite a bit now as we came through lap 158. Andrew protecting that bottom. I did not care. I said I'm not going to try and force it right now. There's still 5 laps to go as we dive down though towards turns 3, right on the back of him now on lap 159. It continues to go down to that bottom, making sure I can't make a move here. And then sure enough now on lap 160, just 3 to go, approaching 2 to go, we actually get to his outside. I knew it wasn't going to work. I was just trying to stick with him and see if I could set him up for a last lap pass at this point. Then, sure enough, we came through to the final lap here in Atlanta. Lap 162 of 162. Jay in third, in case one of us comes together now. As we come through turns 1, we get a very good exit out of turns 2. We know he's going to defend to the bottom, so how low are we going to have to go? We slice all the way down, and he goes all the way off the track to make sure I can't beat him. And then into turn 3, he has a leg spike or something. We make contact because of that, and he goes crashing behind us now as we come through out of turn 4. Jay gets involved, and all of a sudden, we're going to win the race here in Atlanta, which was a very controversial topic at the end of this race because Andrew was livid with me, even though I did absolutely nothing wrong, and I owe no apology in my opinion. Very sorry to him for what happened, though, on his end. Apparently, apparently he got cleaned out on his end, but it's pretty evident I did not touch him. So just trying to clear the air once again. I've laid my case down many times. I also have a clip here from the third place car, which was the 95 driven by Jay. Actually, I don't think he finished third or something like that. But you see here from this view, down into turn 3, I did not lag at all or anything. It's just something weird happened with the 9 and myself. So it was a really odd situation. Unfortunate for Andrew, but like I said, I said I cleaned him out. I didn't touch him. So I haven't apologized, and I'm not going to. He's probably going to hold it against me for a long time, but I felt like I did nothing wrong because it was proven I did not lag or anything or clean him out. So very unfortunate for him, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch it. We're locked in the playoffs now, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.